the top 25 most powerful characters in the Lord of the Rings and Hobbit movies. We use the descriptions and lore from the books, but this list is limited to characters that play a role in the movies. There will be some honorable mentions of characters that we see in the movies, but that are not actively part of the story. Let's get going, and we start with a classic bad guy. Number 25, Bolg. Bolg was an orc chieftain in The Hobbit, the son of Azog, the great orc who had killed Thorin Oakenshield's grandfather Thror. After Azog's death, Bolg became the leader of the orcs of the Misty Mountains and played a major role in the Battle of the Five Armies. When news of Smog's death spread, Bolg led a massive army of orcs and wargs to the Lonely Mountain, seeking revenge and hoping to crush the dwarves and claim power in the north. During the battle, he killed Thorin's nephews, Fili and Kili, as they defended their wounded king. However, Bolg was ultimately killed by Bejorn the Skin Changer, who crushed him in the heat of battle. On a side note, Bolg could probably kill you with his bad breath. Number 24, Faramir. Yes, Faramir was a very good warrior in the Lord of the Rings books. Though he's more prominently shown as wise, thoughtful and scholarly, especially in contrast to his more aggressive brother Boromir, Faramir is still a skilled and capable commander. He leads Gondor's Rangers of Ithilien, operating behind enemy lines in dangerous territory. That alone shows he's brave, tactical and respected by his men. Tolkien describes him as valiant in battle and less reckless and more far-sighted than Boromir. Even when he retreats from Osgiliath, it's not out of cowardice, it's because they're hopelessly outnumbered, and Denethor's command to retake it is basically a suicide mission. Number 23, Azog. Azog was an orc chieftain of Moria. He killed King Thror, the grandfather of Thorin Oakenshield. Azog beheaded Thror and branded his name on the dwarf's severed head, mocking the dwarves. He killed Thorin in the Hobbit movies, but this was not in the book. Number 22, Thorin Oakenshield. Thorin was a proud and brave dwarf prince, heir to the lost kingdom of Erebor. When the dragon Smog took over his homeland, Thorin spent many years in exile, dreaming of reclaiming his people's treasure and honor. He earned his name during a great battle when he used an oak branch as a shield. Thorin led a quest to take back Erebor with a group that included the hobbit Bilbo Baggins. Though he was noble, his desire for gold clouded his judgment. In the end, he fought bravely in the Battle of the Five Armies but died from his wounds, making peace with Bilbo before he passed. Number 21, Radagast. Radagast, a powerful wizard or Maya, does possess magical powers, but he is not a typical warrior. While we never really see him fight, it is to be assumed that he does have some strong magical abilities, which should make him a capable warrior. Imagine if somebody harmed some of his animals. Would you want to be around when he gets mad? Number 20, Boromir. Boromir was a battle-hardened warrior of Gondor, who had fought in many battles and wars protecting Gondor from Mordor. He was described as a very large and strong man with honed fighting skills. The mere sound of his horn blowing put fear in his enemies. At his last stand, Boromir single-handedly killed many Uruk-hai, probably more than 20. He refused to stop fighting even when he had been pierced by multiple orc arrows. Number 19, Legolas. While movie Legolas is basically a John Wick Marvel superhero, book Legolas is more realistic. An amazing archer, strong, quick and brave. He shoots down a Nazgul and, along with Gimli, kills probably hundreds of orcs over the trilogy. Number 18, Thanduel. Thanduel is a veteran of the Battle of the Last Alliance of Elves and Men, where Sauron's finger was cut off. He probably has the same type of fighting abilities as Legolas, but with much more experience, for we see him fighting in the Hobbit movies but don't get detail in the books. Number 17, Daen Ironfoot. Daen Ironfoot slew Azog the Defiler during the Battle of Azanul-Bizar, which was the climactic battle of the War of the Dwarves and Orcs, although Thorin did this in the movies. After Azog had slain many dwarves, Daen fought his way through the orc host and beheaded Azog, avenging the death of King Thror. Daen was only 32 years old at the time, a young age for a dwarf, like 14 or 15, but already a fierce warrior. For context, Gimli was prevented from going on the quest for Erebor because he was only 62, so Daen slew multiple orcs and a very strong orc captain when he was basically still a child. He was an incredibly powerful and skilled warrior. It was difficult to choose between him and Gimli. Number 16, Gimli, son of Glorendel. Unlike movie Gimli, the book Gimli is no comic relief. Being a veteran of many wars by this time, he was a battle-hardened warrior of earnest ability. After beating Legolas with 43 to 42 orc kills at Helm's Deep, the men of Rohan remarked that they had never seen such skill with an axe. They said he could cut multiple orcs in half with one single swing of his great battle axe. He might have been one of the top non-magical warriors of his time. Before we get to number 15, if you are liking this video, please subscribe. Number 15, Celiborn. While we do not see Celiborn fight in The Lord of the Rings, he was a very old and ancient elf, living through multiple wars. Choosing to lead strategically later in his long life, it can be certain he chopped quite a few orcs in his younger years. Mostly, he makes this list because of being part of some of the best memes ever. Number 14, Aragorn. The life and battle renown of Aragorn spans multiple decades, long before the happenings in The Lord of the Rings. By that time, he had fought multiple wars for multiple armies, captained fleets, and spent 80 years honing his bushcraft, sword skills, and leadership abilities. Very few could match him one-to-one. Of men, dwarves, and elves, almost none. He was a proverbial one-man army at this point. He held off 5 Nazgul on Weathertop, and his total lack of fear and unwavering focus is the stuff of legend. Also, finally, his destiny and power come together beautifully in the name of his sword, Anduril, the Flame of the West. Number 13, Elrond. While the wise and noble Elrond of the Third Age was clearly a formidable warrior, we do not see him do much fighting. However, in the Second Age he was chief herald of Gil-galad, High King of the Noldor, and participated directly in the defeat of Sauron. Elrond was born of war and an orphan from a very young age. He had elf, man, and Maya blood in his veins. A true legend. Well known for his healing abilities and wisdom, it would be very foolish to challenge him to battle. Finally, he was also the keeper of Vilya, the Ring of Air. Number 12. Bejorn. While it is difficult to put an exact measurement on something like Bejorn, it is clear that he was a very dangerous fighter. In the Battle of the Five Armies, he single-handedly swings the tide by killing probably hundreds of orcs. His brute force power when he loses his temper is something of legend. Bejorn does not use magic when fighting, but his bear transformation is clearly magical by nature, and his power and strength are magical by nature. Number 11.5, the Witch King of Angmar, Lord of the Nazgul, was the most feared servant of Sauron, and a being of immense dark power. As the chief of the Ringwraiths, his presence alone instilled terror in the hearts of men, weakening their resolve before battle had even begun. Once a mortal king, his soul was enslaved by a ring of power, transforming him into an immortal wraith bound to Sauron's will. His powers were both physical and supernatural. He wielded a Morgul blade that could turn the wounded into wraiths, and his very voice could shatter hope and summon dread. Number 11. Treebeard. Treebeard is older than most elves, but still able to kick it. He could kick you, rocks, fortresses, orcs, basically anything that he does not like. Treebeard the Ent has supernatural strength. The Ents are said to be much stronger than trolls, and with his millennia of wisdom, he is a very capable fighter. About 50 Ents destroyed Isengard on their own. Number 10. Sheilob. It is difficult to place Sheilob on any list, as she would rather ambush and trick than actually fight. But seeing as she is directly descended from Ungoliant, the great void creature, we must assume she has some real hidden power. Ungoliant scared even Morgoth. In a one-on-one fight, Sheilob killed and ate many a strong warrior. The light of Eärendil and Samwise Gamgee's pure will was the only reason they got away. Number 9. The Watcher in the Water, the mysteriously insane Cthulhu-looking super squid that was hiding in the lake in front of Moria. Whatever this thing was, it was clearly ancient, super strong, and hangry, and likely one of the ancient nameless things. The fact that it went for Frodo means it sensed the One Ring, and clearly had a heart of evil. Number 8. Gwaihir the Windlord. The great eagles are not just big birds, they are sentient servants of Manwë, Lord of Arda. These incredible creatures are super powerful. In the First Age, one of them scratched Morgoth in the face, scarring him forever, and they partook in the War of Wrath against Ancalagon the Black. These birdies are not just angry, they mean serious business. Number 7. Smog the Magnificent. Smaug the Golden was chief among the proud, but also really scary. He destroyed whole kingdoms and drove fear into the hearts of multiple peoples. While probably on the same strength level as the eagles, Smog also had the ability to breathe fire and very tough armor. A truly terrible foe, with a destructive and narcissistic nature. Number 6. The Balrog, Durin's Bane. Last of the fire demons of Morgoth, Durin's Bane escaped the biggest battle ever on Middle-earth when the army of the Valar destroyed Angband, but also half of the planet along with it. The fire demon, chief among the host of Morgoth, were prized by him even more than the dragons. The Balrogs were Maya, the same as Gandalf and Saruman, but they were not restrained from using any of their innate power. Very few entities ever defeated a Balrog, and usually those that manage it die in the process. These were basically demonic war machines of dread. Honorable mention goes to Gil-galad, Elendil, and Isildur. These make a quick appearance in the movies, but they were not really part of the story. My son and I came up with this list, and this is our top 5. Number 5. Galadriel. While Galadriel is renowned for her foresight and wisdom, she was one of the greatest elves ever born. According to later published work of Tolkien, she was called Nervan Man-Maiden because of her strength and stature, and of course her courage. She fought fiercely and heroically in the kinslaying against Fëanor thousands of years ago. When Sauron attacked Eregion, she took part in its defense against Sauron. Back in the First Age, Finrod, Galadriel's brother, had a contest of magic with Sauron. For a long time there was a stalemate between the two before Sauron eventually won. However, it is clearly stated by Tolkien that Galadriel was greater than almost all of the elves, save maybe Fëanor and Fingolfin. By using Nenya, a ring of power, she could do a lot of awe-inspiring godlike stuff, such as creating vast mist of secrecy, or weaving protection fields around Lorien. Nenya enhanced her healing powers and likely many of her other powers. Number 4. Glorfindel. Glorfindel was an elf of the First Age, which we see at the Council of Elrond in the movies, originally a noble of the Noldor in the hidden city of Gondolin. He was renowned for his courage, wisdom, and golden hair. During the fall of Gondolin, when the city was attacked by Morgoth's armies, Glorfindel played a key role in defending the fleeing survivors. While leading a group of refugees through the Echariath, or the encircling mountains, they were ambushed by a Balrog and orcs. In a legendary duel, Glorfindel fought the Balrog on a narrow mountain pass. Though he slew the Balrog, he was dragged down with it into the abyss, sacrificing himself to save the others. Number 3. Saruman. Saruman, originally known as Corunir, was one of the Istari, wizards sent by the Valar to help guide Middle-earth in its struggle against Sauron. As a Maiar, he possessed great innate power, though limited by his human form. His most dangerous ability was his voice, which could bend the wills of others through persuasion, manipulation, and charm. He was incredibly intelligent and a master of lore, especially in ring lore and craftsmanship, studying the One Ring, and even attempting to create his own. Saruman also had control over fire and machinery, turning Isengard into a center of industry and breeding the powerful Uruk-hai. Number 2. Gandalf. Gandalf, originally named Olorin, was a Maiar spirit of great wisdom who served the Valar. Though initially reluctant, he was chosen as one of the 5 Istari sent to Middle-earth to help resist Sauron. Upon arrival, he was given the Ring of Fire, Narya, by Círdan. Known for his humility and compassion, Gandalf never fully revealed his power, yet he was immensely capable, wielding light, fire, water, and energy in powerful ways. He could cast out evil, manipulate natural forces, control flame and light, and summon immense strength, resilience, and force in battle. Gandalf defeated a Balrog after falling through the depths of the earth and fighting for days, only to rise again as Gandalf the White, more powerful than before. His staff was a formidable weapon, capable of shattering stone and knocking down enemies with a single strike. He could speak to animals, read minds, influence the will of others, and had a profound understanding of future events. His wisdom, moral strength, and subtle yet extraordinary power made him one of the most pivotal and powerful beings in Middle-earth. Number 1. Sauron. Sauron, once a Maiar as well, became the most powerful and terrifying servant of Morgoth, embodying a dreadful fusion of cunning intellect, devastating magical power, and an iron will to dominate. By the time of the Second Age, Sauron had poured more than half of his power and a third of his spirit into the One Ring, making it the core of his strength and the foundation of his dominion. Though originally able to change forms at will, appearing at various times as a vampire, werewolf, or the fair and deceiving Anatar, Sauron eventually lost this ability after the destruction of Numenor, becoming bound to monstrous, shadowy forms that reflected his true, corrupted nature. Physically, he grew in size over time, reaching an imposing 12 feet tall during the War of the Last Alliance, about 1.5 times his original height of 8 feet, and nearly twice the height of Númenórean men. With this increase came mass and force, weighing approximately 1,440 pounds and wielding an 81-pound mace capable of delivering over 2 tons of kinetic energy. Sauron was not only a sorcerer, but a devastating force of raw physical destruction. His powers extended far beyond combat. He was master of fire, storm, shadow, spell, and crafting of powerful objects. He could control minds to an extent through telepathy, create phantoms and illusions, forge instruments of immense magical potency, and twist nature itself to his will. A necromancer by title and deed, Sauron's dominion was not just physical, but spiritual, enslaving even the dead. His genius for deceit, manipulation, and craftsmanship allowed him to forge the rings of power and corrupt mighty kingdoms, making him not just a warrior or a tyrant, but a dark god-king in all but name. Thanks for watching. Let us know if you agree or who you would rank differently.